Hello students, today we are going to start our new lesson from Unit 4 Reading A, The Eyes Have It. So basically it is a story of a blind boy and his journey in a train. So before starting the chapter, students, I would like you to read along with me because this is a very beautiful story with a great message. So let's begin. I had the train compartment to myself up to Rohana. So here what do you mean by compartment? Separate section in a train. So there was a compartment. In that compartment a boy was sitting alone. Then a girl got in. The couple who saw her off. What do you mean by see off here? To go to airport or railway in order to say goodbye. So there were two people who came to see off to say goodbye to that girl, and they seemed very anxious. What do you mean by anxious here? Worried. So they were worried about her and about her comfort. So the woman who gave the instruction to the girl, the detailed instruction as to where to keep her things, when not to lean out of the window, and how to avoid speaking to strangers. That woman is telling her to keep away from strangers and look after her. Okay, so they called their goodbye and the train pulled off. What do you mean by pull off here? To move away. So the train is about to start, and as I was totally blind at the time, my eyes sensitive only to light and darkness. What do you mean by sensitive here? Able to measure very small changes. So the boy who was sitting in that compartment was blind. The boy was blind actually. So I was unable to tell what the girl looked like, but I knew she wore slippers from the way they slapped against her heel. What do you mean by slap? To hit something. And he just listened about her coming. It would take me some time to discover something about her looks. What do you mean by discover here? To find out or to learn something new. So he discovered something about her looks, and perhaps I would never, but I liked the sound of her voice and even the sound of her slippers. Are you going all the way to Dehra? I asked. The boy asked the girl that, are you going all the way to Dehra? I must have been sitting in a dark corner because my voice startled her. What do you mean by startled here? To surprise someone. So she got shocked because she didn't know that someone was sitting there. So she gave a little exclamation and said, what do you mean by exclamation here? A short sound, word or phrase that you say suddenly. So she suddenly say, I didn't know anyone else was here. Well, it often happens that people with good eyesight fail to see what is right in front of them. They have too much to take in, I suppose. Whereas people who cannot see or see very little have to take it only the essentials, whatever registers tellingly on their remaining senses. So in this story, the boy used to talk to himself in between. So he was telling these phrases to himself. Then he said to the girl, I didn't see you either, but I heard you come in. Then again he is speaking to himself. I wondered if I would be able to prevent her from discovering that I was blind, provided I keep to my seat. So he didn't stand up. He just sat in his seat and thought it shouldn't be too difficult. The girl said, I am getting off at Saharanpur. My aunt is meeting there. So basically, the girl told the boy that she will get off at Saharanpur, which will come before the boy's destination. So let's continue. Then I had better not to go get too familiar, I thought. Aunts are usually formidable. What do you mean by formidable here? Difficult to deal with. Where are you going? The girl asked the boy. The boy said, to Dehra and then to Mussoorie. The girl said, oh, how lucky you are. I wish I were going to Mussoorie. I love the hills, especially in October. The boy said, yes, this is the best time. Calling off my memories, the hills are covered with wild dahlias The sun is delicious. What do you mean by dahlias? Dahlias are the wildflowers which you will get it in mountains. The sun is delicious. What do you mean by delicious? Yeah, very pleasant. And the night you can sit in front of a log fire and drink a little brandy. Most of the tourists have gone and the roads are quiet and almost deserted. Yes, October is the best time. She was silent. I wondered if my words had touched her or whether she thought me a romantic fool. Then I made a mistake. What it is like outside? He asked the girl. She seemed to find nothing strange in the question. Had she noticed already that I could not see? But her next question removed my doubt. When the boy asked the girl that what is it like outside, so the boy was getting nervous that she will find out that the boy is blind. But her next question cleared his doubt. Why don't you look out of the window? The girl asked the boy. I moved easily along the berth and felt for the window ledge. The window was open and I faced it, making it pretense. What do you mean by pretense here? An action that makes people believe something that is not true. He was pretending, actually, making a pretense of his studying the landscape. I heard the panting of the engine, the rumble of the wheels, and in my mind's eye, I could see telegraph post flashing by. Here, the word pretense means a behavior that makes someone believe something that is not true. So he was actually pretending of studying the landscape. I heard the panting of the engine, the rumble of the wheel, and in my mind's eye, I could see telegraph post flashing by. Have you noticed? I ventured. What do you mean by venture here? Risk saying something. Ventured means to do something dangerous when you are not sure what will happen next. So he again ventured and said that have you noticed that the trees seemed to be moving while we seemed to be standing still? That always happened, she replied. Do you see any animals? She asked the boy. No, I answered quite confidently because I knew that there were hardly any animals left in the forest near Dehra. I turned from the window and faced the girl, and for a while we sat in silence. You have an interesting face, I remarked. The boy said to girl. I was becoming quite daring, but it was a safe remark. Few girls can resist flattery. What do you mean by flattery? Saying good about somebody or something that you do not really mean. So she laughed pleasantly, a clear ringing laugh. The girl said, it's nice to be told that I have an interesting face. I'm tired of people telling me that I have a pretty face. So the boy again talking to himself, oh, so you do have a pretty face, I thought I. And aloud I said, well, an interesting face can also be pretty. Now, we will continue in our next lecture the remaining story.